समर्पयामि। Jai Guru Prabhupada. So we will continue where we had stopped in chapter 6. Atma Samyama Yoga or Dhyana Yoga. So Dhyana Yoga, Bhagwan Krishna is telling us that if you want to get into higher states of realization or free yourself completely from this creation and still be in the creation, then you must practice when you're doing your karma, although you're surrendering everything to Brahma and having no sankalpa or selfish desires in your karma, it is better that you practice something like dhyana or meditation or some spiritual action. So let us continue from where we stopped. The 6th chapter, I guess we did till 19th or 20th sloka. Just a minute. We did, Yatroparamate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmana atmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. So initially, quickly we'll go through what we did initially. Initially, Lord Krishna says, without expecting karma phalas, do your duties and continue to do your spiritual actions. Then you will be called a sannyasi as well as a karma yogi. Then Lord says, remember, what is sannyasa? That is also yoga or karma yoga. Because you can't attain sannyasa or freedom from all actions without doing works. So when you're beginning Ara Ruksho Munir Yogam, so to climb up to the path of that Naishkarma state of freedom from this birth in this creation, then we have to work hard. But when we become experts in controlling our senses, in controlling the mind, which can withdraw the prana, then you can sit idle. You are not going to give anything or take anything from this world. Meaning basically you're beyond hunger, thirst, and things like that. Then Lord says, Sarva Sankalpa Sannyasi. So all pleasure-loving activities, like whatever we are doing to attain pleasures, so that you must try to withdraw yourself from, which is done for Indriyarteshu. Karma, so you become busy attaining those pleasures, for that pleasures that you have to stop. Then Lord says, Uddared Atmanatmanam Natmanam Avsadhya. Ensure that you are always uplifting your ego consciousness. Atmaiva hi Atmano Bandhu, Atmaiva Ripu. Ripu is an enemy, Bandhu is friend. So you have to ensure that Bandhu, he is your Bandhu. Your lower self and higher self are friends. Do the right things. Otherwise, the higher self will not be your friend if you do the wrong things. It will become a Ripu. If you can, using the lower self, meditate on the higher self and learn to conquer it, learn to unite with it, then you'll become friends. Otherwise, you'll be like enemies, because normally the lower self will comply with nature or prakriti. Higher self will comply with Brahma. So they don't actually see eye to eye mostly. So jitatmana prashantasya paramatma samahita. Once you have won over it, united with it, then you'll become very peaceful and happy. You'll not be troubled by Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha. Then how will you attain that? By becoming a Jitendriya, Kutastho Vijitendriya. Becoming ensconced in that, absorbed in that Kutastha or that Ajna Chakra. Samaloshtashmakanchana. Everything becomes equal for you, external. So Hiran Mitra, Udasina, Madhyastha, Dvesha, Bandhusha, everything, everyone you look at them equal-minded. Anybody, makes fun of you, shouts at you, it's not going to trouble you after that. Yogi Yunjita Satatam Atmanam Rahasistita Ekakiyata Chittatma Nirashira Parigraha. He sits in a single place, alone in a solitary place, and tries to conquer his mind. शुचौ देशे प्रतिष्ठाय स्थिरमासनमात्मना नात्युच्चित्रं नातिनीचं शैलाजिनकुशोत्तरम्. Sitting on Shailajina and Kusha grass, sitting a little above and little below, making yourself stabilized. तत्र एकाग्रं मन कृत्वा मनस को एकाग्र करके यत चित्तेन्द्रिय क्रिया. Constantly moving indriyas, hold on to them. Upavishyasini yunjat yogam atmavishuddhi. So like that you can cleanse your inners, manas, buddhi and chitta. Samam kaya shirogrivam jharayana chalam sthira samprekshanasikagram sam dishasthanavalokaya. Don't look here and there. Focus on the agra bhaga of your nose, nasikagra, beginning of your nose, where you wear that bindi, chandanam or whatever you wear, that bhasma. So prashantatma vigatavi brahmachari vriti sthitah. Manasamyamya matchityukta asita matpara. Thinking of me matparaha as a supreme goal, he can control his chitta, the fanciful faculty of chitta, and very soon he becomes peace filled and he overcomes all kind of fear and brahma and delusions. So it is very rewarding meditation. This is a revision. Yunjanevam sadatmanam yoginiyata manasa shanti nirvana prava atsam samadhi. Like this, trying and struggling, holding on to the chitta, senses and manas whenever it runs away, very soon he will come to my samsthanam. See, the thing is very interesting. God doesn't wait for you to struggle and attain that. Paramahansa Yogananda says, somewhere down the line, he just comes and then snaps all the cords and says, Chalo, you want to really come home, right? Come. That's it. You're free. So keep doing it. नात्यश्नतस्तु योगोऽस्ति न चैकान्तमनश्नता न चाति स्वप्नशीलस्य जागृतो नैव च अर्जुन. Swapnashila and Jagrata will not be, don't be oversleeping or undersleeping. Don't overeat or undereat. Yukta ahara vihara, balanced ahara vihara. Yukta chestase, do some work, karma. Don't overdo or underdo. Yukta swapna avabodhasya, sleep and get up on time. Bhavati dukkha yogo. Yada vinitam chittam atmanyeva avatishtati nispra sarva kamebhyo yukta ityuchati. So Lord says here, your chitta will finally become established in the higher self. Your desires will fall off, attachment and will fall off, and you will be called a yukta. So yada vinitam chitta, all the time when you're doing this constantly, one day it will definitely happen. Then an example of a unflickering lamp. Nivatasta nengate sopamasmita deepa. Yata chittasya. Like that, the chitta will suddenly become steady one day. Then now Lord says, Yatra uparamate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyani atmani tushyati. So from here we'll do this. We did yesterday already. So when what happens is then you start uparamate chittam. Your chitta will start enjoying in this niruddha state. Niruddha is restrained state. Otherwise, it runs around helter skelter like a madman. The senses, the manas and buddhi is continuously restless. It is all, wanting to be in the world. It is not peaceful. This niruddha state, yoga sevaya. Yoga sevaya is working in the service of yoga, literally, but then doing yoga constantly. You will attain that niruddha state and you will be uparamati. You will actually enjoy it. Yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyanatmani tushyati. When you see in the inside your own self, your Atma, the higher soul, you will see yourself. So you will be tushyati, you will be very happy, very joyous. It's a beautiful feeling, what Krishna is saying. It's not an ordinary feeling. So the next three shlokas, 21, 22, 23, Lord is going to explain, that beautiful joy that we are going to experience in this niruddha state. Niruddha is controlled state, means self-controlled, disciplined, mental state. So Didi is there if she can chant these 21, 22, 23. She's not there? Didi is not there?
Okay, Gurudev, yes, I'm there. Which one? 22, 23?
21, 22, 23.
Okay. Jai Guru. सुखमात्यन्तिकं यत्तत् बुद्धिग्राह्यमतीन्द्रियम् वेत्ति यत्र न चैवायं स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः यं लब्ध्वा चापरं लाभं मन्यते नाधिकं ततः यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन गुरुणापि विचाल्यते तं विद्या दुःखसंयोग वियोगं योगसञ्ज्ञितम् स निश्चयेन योक्तव्यो योगो निर्विण्णचेतसा.
Now look at this, what Lord says. He says something very fascinating here. He says, when you sit in this meditation and when you get used to it, like when you do this, yoga sevaya, niruddham yoga sevaya, constantly practicing it slowly, 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 what's going to happen? Sukham athyantikam yatat. Atyantikam. What is the meaning of atyanta? Atyantikam is endless. Anta is end, right? Ati antikam, beyond end, endless. So it is intense sukha, intense joy. So sukham atyantik yat tat. See, this joy, this pleasure that you get, or this joy or the bliss, they call it a bliss, right? Ananda, that you get is beyond explanation. There is no comparison to this atyanta sukha that comes in when the soul is touched. That is what it said. There is a very interesting example in the scripture. They say the highest pleasure mankind knows is the pleasure of orgasm, of union with another soul. And rishis say that the sukha that you experience in the body is equal to 10 million orgasms happening at one point, at one time, in a fraction of a second. So if you experience something like that, death is certain unless the mind and the body is ready. So that kind of sukha it is. That's what Bhagavan Krishna says. This is when the Kundalini awakens and meets with the Kutastha. That is what is happening, right? In this. That is when the complete Niruddha state comes. That's what Lord says, Sukham Athyantikam Yatat. Buddhi Grahyam Atindriyam. So your buddhi, your intellect, this intellect cannot even explain it. You cannot understand. And it is Atindriya Sukha, beyond the Indriyas. It is not related to the skin. It is not related to some nervous system, which is the highest sukha known to human beings, or the little basic sukha of the tongue, or maybe the sukha of listening to something very beautiful music, or speech, or enjoying yourself talking. All these are very ridiculous sukhas in comparison. Lord says, buddhi grahyam atindriyam. The intellect cannot understand these sukhas. It is also beyond the indriya. Veti yatra nacha evam ayam stitaschalati tatvatah. When he sees this sukha and he experiences it, he doesn't move. Savikalpa samadhi. The yogi goes into it, he never comes out. You pinch him, you kill him, you cut off his head, he never comes out. The body gives up. The body says, I don't want to exist. Because that is the amount of bliss. That is the amount of bliss. Vetti, when you know, yatra, when you are established in this, nacha evam ayam, he, sthitas, situated, chalati, he will never move after that, suspended animation, tattvataha. That is the eternal truth. And what is very fascinating in this shloka of the entire Bhagavad Gita is when you know this is the truth, and that truth we are seeking. God says we are seeking that pleasure, that bliss in everything else in this world, in food, in clothes, in enjoyment, in fun. But this sukha is actually what the soul is seeking through the physical senses. It will never get it. A billion years it may seek in nature. It is inside, hidden. That is why that example of that Hiran is there, no? In the Mahabharata, it keeps running and running, looking for that, musk. It goes crazy looking for the musk, but it never finds. Finally, in that madness, it jumps down, and the musk is actually in his stomach. So that's what we kill ourselves every life in this world, chasing things which are not important. Krishna's advice, Lord Krishna's advice is look within once. Just look within once. It's there. You'll not get up once you see that sukha. Then after that, everything is tasteless. And this is the divine bliss we're looking for all the time. This is a beautiful shloka. Then Lord says, next shloka, Yam labdva cha labdva. Labh jab ye labh jo milte. It's a profit, right? So he's calling it labdva, or when you gain it, gain it. It's a gain. Cha. And aparam labham. Any other kind of gain or labha, profit that you're getting. Manyate na adhikam tat. Your mind will not accept anything else after experiencing this soul bliss within. And this is the bliss of Brahma. Now, that is why billions of yogis who are aware of it are seeking that in the Himalayas. Sacha aparam labham manyate na adhikam tatha. Than this. Yasmin stitaha. Once you get this bliss, na dukkhena. Guruna api vichalyate. Means yasmin sthita, when you are situated, when you get this bliss within in that meditation, guruna dukkha. The guru means very massive, powerful, big. Okay, so such kind of dukkha. What is the greatest dukkha? Somebody is cutting off your head, or that also will not move you from the body. You will not move the body. Even that kind of pain comes. Basically, Lord is saying this is reference to samadhi. That's very high state of existence. The yogis, all samadhi yogis, you see the bliss on their face, Vivekananda, Yogananda, anybody you take, Ramana Maharshi, look at their face. They will not move from that. So, yes means the third dukkhena guru napi vichalit. Then Lord says, tam vidhyat. Tam vidhyat. You should also know this, Arjuna, that dukkha samyoga viyogam. Viyoga means moving away. Dukkha samyoga is attaining dukkha. In this world, there is only samyoga of dukkha, coming together. Samyoga is coming together, meeting dukkha. Every action leads to pain in this world. But when you attain this state, it ensures viyogam from that state. Dukkha samyogam, viyogam. Yoga sangitam. Remember, that is yoga. This state that you have attained, that is called yoga. Yujjate anena iti yoga. That which joins you. Joins what? Your lower self to your higher self. You knowing yourself, that you are Brahma, but nothing else. Okay, that is yoga sannitam. That is called yoga. And it is the state where dukkha samyoga has ended. Viyoga has happened from dukkha samyoga. Sanishchayena. So definitely, nishchayena, yoktavya, you have to try to unite. Yoktavya, yoga, this yoga, you have to try to unite within Anirvinna Chetasa, without letting your Chetana waver here or there. Chetana is your consciousness or your mind. Anirvinna is definitely with a lot of inspiration, you have to practice this if you really want to experience this. So these three are some of the most beautiful shlokas in Gita. It shows that there is so much meaning in life. Otherwise, by the time we are 80, 82, have you seen a person who's been in the material world? He's either lost all his memory, he has no thought of anything, he can't identify his own loving wife or son or child or grandson, and he has no control over his bodily parts or senses. Everything has started deteriorating, and there's no more meaning to life. But if one practices things like yoga, did you see what is going to happen? You are going to attain a state. So Bhagavan Krishna's advice, this is a wake-up call to the entire world, what we're supposed to seek actually, isn't it? Then, okay, so we've done that. So Didi, can you now chant for us from Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman till from 24 till 28?
Yes, Jai Guru. सङ्कल्पप्रभवान् कामान् त्यक्त्वा सर्वान् शेषतः मनसैवेन्द्रियग्रामं विनियम्य समन्तता शनैरुपरमे बुद्ध्या धृतिगृहीतया आत्मसंस्थं मनः कृत्वा न किञ्चिदपि चिन्तयेत् यतो यतो निश्चरति मनश्चञ्चलमस्थिरं ततस्ततो नियम्यैतत् आत्मन्येव वसं नयेत् प्रशान्तमनसं ह्येनं योगिनं सुखमुत्तमम् उपैति शान्तरजसं ब्रह्मभूतमकल्मषम् युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं योगी विगतकल्मषः सुखेन ब्रह्म संस्पर्शम् अत्यन्तं सुखमश्नुते. जय गुरु.
Thank you. Vi. Again, Lord Krishna explains the state as a beautiful, beautiful, indescribable state. He continues, he says, and how to attain the state. He gives a little brief on it. He says, Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman Tyaktva. Sankalpa. Sankalpas are basically related to worldly sankalpas. Attaining that in life, attaining this. I will do my CA, I will complete it, and then I will earn 10 lakh rupees. Sankalpa. I will finish my IS exams, then I'll get married. Sankalpa. I will enter the army and I will do this. I will make a big house. Sankalpa. Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman. So, because of internet, so many lives, unfulfilled desires. Because the past life we didn't have a house. We lived in a, maybe a seaside hut. So I always thought of having a great house and a beautiful. So then it comes, I want to make this beautiful mansion, massive mansion. Sankalpa Prabhavan Kama. So that Kama continues from life to life. So this, if the karma is not stopped today, another life there'll be another karma, another karma. So once I want to be a teacher, then I want to be an engineer. Next life I want to be a doctor. Next life I want to be a administrator. Then I want to be the prime minister. It'll all be fulfilled. Nature, Maya, wants to fulfill all the desires. That is why 1 million desires, 1 million lives. Sankalpa Prabhuvan Kama. So somewhere you have to decide to give up this desire. Tyaktva sarvan asheshata. You have to give up asheshata. Shesha means remaining. Little also should not remain. Manasaiva indriya gramam. So the manas and the indriya gramam. That is, the manas is the chain that is holding on to the pancha indriyas. These indriyas viniyamya samantataha. So you must niyamya, keep it disciplined and controlled. Then Lord says, Shanai, Shanai, slowly, slowly. This will happen slowly. It will not happen tomorrow, definitely. Shanai, Shanai, Uparamet. So you will get this. You will attain this. Ramna is again enjoy or peaceful, calmness. You will get it. Buddhya Dhriti Grahitya. Initially, the Buddhi will understand this. Dhriti Grahitya. So Dhriti is determined, definitely very determined. Uh, with the help of the buddhi, you can control the manas and the indriyas. And the buddhi will first get informed of this, will understand that there is something. That is why Lord says all of us are encouraged to study, work hard, so the buddhi improves. Through buddhi, evolution happens. We question and we attain higher states, right? Hridikahitaya atma samstam manah kritva. So then the manas. Here the manas is all, the buddhi included manas. The manah kritva, it will go into the atma. It will go into the higher faculties. The faculties are so chitta and aham, and below that buddhi and manas. And below that is the sense organs, and below that is the body. So like that we control. The second chapter also he said, no, that you control the body with the senses, control the senses with your manas, and control the manas with the buddhi. And so all this conglomeration then will start moving into the chitta, aham and chitta will unite, and they will look backwards and they'll see the soul. So they have the capability to see. So manakritva, everything fix it in the atma, atma samsta manakritva. Na kinchit api chintayat. Don't think of anything else. Very simple. Lord says, as if you can live without thoughts. It is a very high state to attain that thoughtless state. It comes very briefly for a long, deep meditator also. So, but in time it happens, Lord says. Yato yato nishcharati. So Lord says, yata yata. Here he says, whenever you do this, whenever nishcharati. Nischarati is to move, moving. Whenever this moves away, Manas chanchalam astiram. The mind, he knows it's full of thoughts. Astiram, it becomes chanchalam, it's restless. Tatastato. Then and there, what you do? Niyamya etat. You control it. Niyam mein leke aao. Pull it back. Atmanyeva vasham nayet. Get it into the Atma. Get it into the Atma. And like this, when you continue to practice this, every time you get a thought, just chant this to yourself. Yato yato nischarati manaschanchalamaste. It happens. I practice it. That's what I'm saying. So whenever you get into the stillness and the stillness is breaking, you just say this sloka, instantly the mind will go in. The mind knows what to do, It is an intelligent fellow. It will immediately obey. It knows these are higher things. I want this. Like you show the child a small, 5 rupee toffee, and you say, "Look, I'll give it to you later. If you finish your homework, I'll even buy you something bigger. Like buy you that 50 rupee silk chocolate." The child will say, "Don't want. You keep your 5 rupee chocolate. I will do homework. You give me 50 rupees." That the manas is like a child only. As long as you don't keep it disciplined, it will keep going into this world, eating, enjoying itself in this world, friends, relatives, the social gatherings, everything. But the moment you teach it something higher, it knows it's going to get some more bigger chocolate. So it'll say, okay, I will do. Wait, I'll come in. I don't want to think. So it does that. Prashanta manasam hi enam. Like this peaceful manas enam, like this, yoginam sukhamuttam. The yogi will start getting uttama sukha. Hmm? Upaiti Shanta Rajasam. Then what will happen when you start getting this sukha every day in that meditation? You become peaceful, right? Upaiti Shanta Rajasam. Rajasam is rajas sickness. Rajas is that movement of rajas causes all excessive activity in the physical body as well as the mind. Upaiti is you get the Shanta Rajasam. The rajas becomes quiet in the body. Sattva predominates. Brahma Bhuta Akalmasham. Very soon, Brahmabhutam, he'll get Brahmabhutam. Bhutam is to become, being. He'll dip himself in Brahma every now and then. Akalmasham. And whenever you dip yourself into Brahma, what happens? Akalmash happens. Whatever sins were caused gets wiped out. They say, no, that is why Adishankara, Shanamati Sajjana Sangati Reka Bhavati Bhavaranavat Tarane Noka. Even for some Kshana, if you sit in the aura of a Sajjana is a great soul, like Shri Ravi Shankar, in his companionship. If you get the chaya, the Hindus believe that if you get the chaya also of such great souls, lives of sins will get obliterated. So whatever disease comes to the body, mind will get wiped out. Diseases come because of sins only. So akalmasham, sin will get destroyed. This happens also. When you sit in stillness after the meditation, breath stops, and that silence that comes wipes is Brahma entering the body, or union of the Brahma and the ego consciousness. And in that, the spine gets wiped clean of the karmic incursions that we've had. Then did Yunjan Evam. Yunjan Evam Sada Atmanam. Yunjan, uniting Evam like this, Sada Atmanam. So practicing this union every day, silently sitting, controlling the mind, putting your eyes in the Agnya Chakra, and thinking of the Lord, either his face or his chaya, or observing the breath. There are hundreds of techniques, and when you do this, constantly practicing, Sada Atmanam, Yogi Vigata Kalmasha. Very soon his sins will start getting destroyed, and that yogi will start getting everything, like wisdom, like maybe a higher status in society. He will start attaining aishwaryam, everything. Then the world around will be wondering, what is this yogi doing that he's getting all this? He is wiping out his karmas by making mat paraha, the supreme, as his goal. So Paramahansa Yogananda says this is a very natural rule in this world. Whenever there is a great yogi, he also, mostly, he's a siddha, great siddha, he will be accompanied with massive amounts of success and wealth. You look at anybody, any great siddha who's in India today, Sri Ravi Shankar, Mata Amritanandamayi, or you look at, what is Swami Mukundananda, or you look at Oh, Sadguru Jagi Vasudev. Look at any yogi, some level of siddha he has attained, and wealth follows them. They don't have to put much effort. They'll put a little effort, which is normal karma, but wealth becomes immense for them. So because why Vigata Kalmasha is happening? The sins which block that attainment of wisdom and wealth starts happening. It gets obliterated. Sukhena Brahma Samsparsham. Plus, when Brahma Samsparshana happens, Samsparshana is touching. You constantly touch Brahma like this inside your soul. So much joy keeps coming. So that's why you've seen their faces are all so blissed out. Hmm? Atyantam sukhamashnute. Atyantam. Again he says, Sukham atyantikam yatad. He said, no? Buddhigrahim yatad. Atyantam sukhamashnute. Lord Krishna is talking this from experience, no? He has attained these states many lives back and he's become an avatar now. This is Lord Krishna attained his self-realization 5,000 years before. I mean, he had meditated for 5,000 years to attain that state of that level of avatar, where he could bring in full Purna Parabrahma completely in this world. So, but before he attained, he also came as partial avatar in many lives before coming. So, he came as Parashurama, he came as a partial avatar, then he came as Rama. That's why Rama is called Maryada Purushottam. He was practicing what he learned in those avatars. So it is not necessary that we become Purna Avatar instantly. Avatar is itself a big state, but once we attain the state, we still do come back to Loka Sangrahameva to help the beings. He came again and again. That is why he had so many lives. Bhagavatam mentioned 24 lives before Krishna. And others normally we know it only Dashavatar, right? As avatar. Before that, before the first Matsya avatar only, he had so many avatars. He was a self-realized soul. Bhagavan Krishna and all these beings, Arjuna and all might have been Prajapatis in maybe in the last few kalpas. Prajapatis then. So there is no end of evolution, you see. We're now petty humans, no? Little humans. There's no end of evolution. It's not like you become a yogi, you leave everything and then there's no more. You unite with Brahman and over everything over, boom, boom. No. Continue, come back. Brahma uses you after that also. And then you will be supreme master of the universe when you come back. Obviously, you will have all the joys and everything, but tremendous joy will be there in this state. It's mentioned in this 11th canto. Bhagavan Krishna is to get up in the morning at 4 o'clock and meditate. It's very fascinating. Right? So he says he is to practice it. And so, Didi, can you chant from 29 now? 29 to 32.
Okay. Check. सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि ईक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा सर्वत्र समदर्शनः यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र सर्वं च मयि पश्यति तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि स च मे न प्रणश्यति सर्वभूतस्थितं यो मां भजत्येकत्वमास्थितः सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि स योगी मयि वर्तते आत्मौपम्येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति योऽर्जुन सुखं वा यदि वा दुःखं स योगी परमो मतः.
Thank you, Dee. Well, look at this. Now we got that Atyantam Sukhamashnade. Lord has explained this state which is beyond even grasp of our normal senses, that kind of sukha. Then what happens? That once that sukha has happened, and suppose the yogi gets up, looks like that when the yogi has gotten up now, after that kind of savikalpa samadhi. Sarva bhutastham atmanam. In all beings, right from a cockroach to a king or whatever being, prime minister, president, he sees the supreme soul. He sees that Brahma, because he's seen the Brahma himself, inside himself. He sees the Brahma everywhere else. So, Atmanam. So, the word Atma is used very differently in different situations. Sometimes referring to the ego, sometimes referring to the soul, sometimes referring to the supreme soul itself. So here it's referring to the Supreme Soul. Sarva Bhutastham, situated. Sam is to, situated. Supreme Soul, he says, Sarva Bhutani cha Atmani. And when he closes his eyes and sees the Supreme Soul within himself, he can see all the beings also within himself, within the Supreme Soul within himself. Cha Atmani. Ikshate is to say Yoga Yukta Atma. So that Atma is a one who has attained that state of yoga. Sarvatra Samadharshana. Everywhere he has an equal vision. He sees everything equal because he sees only Brahma. You open your eyes, Brahma. Close your eyes, Brahma inside. Inside Brahma, all the beings. Paramahansa Yogananda explains this very nicely in his autobiography. He says, when he attained the state, when he was a boy, he was, I guess, 17 at that time. When he attained the state, so first he could see that light. He united with that light in that supreme consciousness. He says, everything felt like it was walking inside me. Everything, the grass was growing inside me, the tree, everything was happening inside him. Now, this is a very interesting statement to analyze. When we close our eyes, we feel, oh, there's only a little place there, but it's a vast space inside. And what is very fascinating is that is the field from, this is what the scriptures say, that is the field, that vast space is the field of consciousness from which this body gets projected outwards. Interesting, isn't it? So that space is massive, bigger. That's why it's called Chidakasha. It is like ether. It's like Akasha. Everything. Akasha encompasses everything, right? Akasha is not the sky, but ether. Everything, all the other Chatur Mahabhutas are in the fifth one. That is the Akasha. So the Chidakasha is so massive. That is within us, and that is Brahma. Beyond that is Brahma. But that massive it is. So you can see the entire universe inside. So that's how Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshana. Then he sees everything as Brahma. Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra. Mam is me. Yaha is he who. Mam Pashyati. Pashyati is see. Sarvatra everywhere. Sarvam cha Mai Pashyati. And who sees everything inside me like this? Lord is explaining the 29th shloka again in the first line, in the 30th one. Tasya aham na pranashyami, sacha me na pranashyati. Tasya aham. For him, na pranashyami. He never stops seeing me. See, that is the state. Once you see Brahman, that's it. You will see Brahman in everything and everyone. There is no way kama, krodha, lobha, anger, frustration, anxiety, anything will come. Sacha me na pranashyati. For such a person, may, that is me, to me, not na pranashyati, lost. Pranashyati also means destruction. For me also, that I am always observing him. The moment he sees me, I see him. We discussed this last time. Everything is a reflection actually. Brahma is also a reflection. You see him, he sees you. You call him, he responds, or he calls you back. You walk towards him, he walks back to you. You don't see him, he doesn't see you. Then you don't see him and you say, God doesn't exist. Like that. So, Sacha me na pranashyati. For me also, me is me. For me also, he is not lost ever. I also am observing him. That is why when you call on to Brahma very sincerely, even with a simple call, not even Savikalpa Samadhi, with the simple call, he responds in his own way. Paramahansa Guruji says that to the extent of your intensity, he responds. You call him. Why? Because you and I are him, one and the same. You say your intensity is a certain whatever, you can say a certain measure, say 100 hertz or something. He will respond with 100 hertz. It's a reflection. You manifest him. So it's a very fascinating, mysterious statement to actually ponder on. So then Lord says, Sarva Bhuta Stitam Yo Mam. Sarva Bhuta Stitam Yaha Mam. Did we do this? Sarva Bhuta is all beings. Stitam is situated. Yo Mam. Mam is me. When you see me situated in all beings, Bhajati Ekatvam Astitaha. Bhajati is you start worshipping unity Astitaha established. Then you see the unity in all beings. We say, ah, God is big, that God big, God, this animal is small, you can kill it. That animal you have to worship. No, everything you'll worship as Brahma. This is the crux of Sanatana Dharma, right? You would, everything you'll say Ekatvam. So this is a realization. What we say is different. We learn it, but when we see it in our yoga, actually we can realize it. Sarvata Vartamana api sayogi mai vartate. Vartamana is to be present, meaning doing work. So when this is a very high state, this looks like Nirvikalpa Samadhi. This statement. Lord is saying he is seeing everything. He saw me. He's constantly seeing me now inside. He sees me outside also. And inside me, he sees all beings. Outside also, he sees me in all beings. He worships everything and everyone equally. And he's busy in this world also. Vartamanopi. Sayogi Maya Vartate. He is actually living in me only, which goes on to say this entire Brahmand he realizes as an entire cosmos, this world is Brahma only. He realizes this state. And he works for Brahma only because he is Brahma working for Brahma. So that is a very, very fascinating state. Jesus Christ, Bhagwan Krishna, Swami Yukteswarji, Paramahansa Yogananda, Larry Maharshi, all are in this state. There's a story of Larry Maharshi, very interesting. No? He was in the accounts department, working in the accounts department, revenue department, I guess, in the British government, right? So he was a simple person. Nobody could say he was God realized. But his boss, who was always dealing with him, could recognize this man is something superior, not normal. That is explaining this. Sayogi mai vartate. Sarvata vartamanopi. Although he is busy in this world, he is dwelling inside me only constantly. So boss used to be always busy, and he used to always call him Babuji. No, Babuji used to say to him, English boss. So it once so happened that his wife in England was sick. In those times, they used to go and come to England. 1 month it is to take, right, on the ship. So the boss was very aghast. They used to live separately, because she was in England. And so he says that everything was letter. Then he says to Babuji that, look, my wife is very sick. So he asks, Larimashi asks, why, sir, why are you so unhappy? So he says, my wife is very sick, and shows the letter she's written that she's, in those times, sickness, even small typhoid, people die. He was very distressed, the husband. So then he said, Larimashi said, he nodded and he went away inside. And after 3-4 days, a letter came, 3-4 days or 5 days, because in maybe by code or something, the letter came that I am fine now. Thank you so much. She didn't say thank you. I am feeling so fine and blissed out. And I'm thinking it's wrong for us to be so separate. I'm booking the next ship and I'm coming. So then 3-4 weeks, she landed in Kolkata, Banaras, wherever, through ship. So then she went to the office the next day. At the moment she saw Larry Marshall, she was shocked. She came and told her husband, that is the man who came and cured me in London. Oh my God, how is he here? Does he work for you? Say, really? I can't believe it. And she goes and she falls on the feet of that Larry Mashi who's sitting. Then the boss comes up and says, we call him Babuji because he's a very strange person. He's very silent. He works he's very diligent worker. Doesn't speak much. So there he was. Sarvata Vartamanopi Sayogi Mai Vartate. He's working inside me only and he is united with me only. And he's still busy in this world. Lord says, then 32. Didi, can you read from 32 to 40 now?
32 is done, Didi. You can explain.
Okay. Atma upamena sarvatra sarva samam pashyati Arjuna. Might be a great state, right? Atma upamanyena sarvatra samam pashyati yaha Arjuna. So Lord says, Sukham va yadi va dukkam sayogi paramamata. So Lord says this state for him who has attained that joy inside his Atma, sarvatra samam pashyati. Seeing everything as equal externally, seeing Brahma inside, working for me, knowing this entire creation is mine. He's aware of everything in this creation. So, sukham va yadiva dukkam, whatever happiness or sadness comes, sayogi paramamata. He is the one who is the highest. I consider highest. Meaning, this is a Nirvikalpa yogi, a very high state, who has seen me in everything, sees me within himself, sees all beings as Brahma, and continues to work. So again, Bhagavan Krishna giving his own example, attaining self-realization, coming back to the world and working for the upliftment of the world. He loves such people. I consider such people as great, not the ones who run after Himalayas. So Lord Krishna's, this is his advice to everyone. So Didi, can you chant from 33 to 40? It's a very simple. These last six are a little complex, but these are easy.
Till 39 or 40? From 40 onwards, Bhagwan Uvacha is
Yeah,
starting.
40 till 40.
Okay, thank you. Arjuna Uvacha योऽयं योगस्त्वया प्रोक्तः साम्येन मधुसूदन एतस्याहं न पश्यामि चञ्चलत्वात् स्थितिं स्थिरां चञ्चलं हि मनः कृष्ण प्रमाथि बलवदृढम् तस्याहं निग्रहं मन्ये वायोरिव सुदुष्करम् श्रीभगवान् उवाच असंशयं महाबाहो मनो दुर्निग्रहं चलम् अभ्यासेन तु कौन्तेय वैराग्येन च गृह्यते असंयतात्मना योगो दुष्प्राप इति मे मतिः वश्यात्मना तु यतता शक्यो वाप्तुमुपायतः अर्जुन उवाच अयति श्रद्धयोपेतो योगाच्चलितमानसः अप्राप्य योगसंसिद्धिं त्वां गतिं कृष्ण गच्छति तच्चिन्नो भयविभ्रष्टः छिन्नाभ्रमिव नश्यति अप्रतिष्ठो महाबाहो विमूढो ब्रह्मणः पथि एतन्मे संशयं कृष्ण चेत्तुमर्हस्य शेषतः त्वदन्यः संशयस्यास्य चेत्ता न ह्युपपद्यते श्रीभगवान् उवाच पार्थ नैवेह नामुत्र विनाशस्तस्य विद्यते न हि कल्याणकृत् कश्चित् दुर्गतिं तात गच्छति जय गुरु।
Thank you, Didi. These are very simple questions that will this is a doubt that will come to anybody who is in this world. See, the typical doubt for a person who starts meditating a bit seriously, he may withdraw from the world. He may not go into the corporate world, become a head honcho, head of an organization. He may have the capability, but he may take up something else. So that, Paramahansa Yogananda says, when your seeking mode generates, and when you're an old soul, and you have perhaps done those things. We have done million things in million lives. Perhaps you've been a leader, you've been something in past lives. Many past lives have been there. So it's, at one point, a soul starts saying, wait, take a break. Now let us focus on attaining these things. So you may become a little withdrawn from the world. For the world, you may seem like a non-successful story. Oh, he didn't become this. He did not do this. He did not. He's a normal person. He's that. So he didn't become an IS officer or something. Because it's a typical worldview, right? Because they see only the physical present life of yours. But what does Brahma say then? So then Arjuna asks this question. He says, Yo ayam yogastvaya proktaha. Arjuna asks Krishna about this doubt. He says, Yaha ayam yoga tvaya prokta. Prokta is spoken, explained. Ayam is this, and Yaha is this which yoga you have explained. Samena. Samina is with the samyak manas, with complete controlled mind, silence, a peace. Madhusudana, Bhagwan Krishna, etasya aham na pashyami chanchalatvat sthitim stiram. This, because my mind is full of chanchalatvat, getting this sthitim stira, this focused concentration, steady concentration, is a bit difficult, isn't it, Lord? Isn't he saying, for me it is difficult? Look, Arjuna, Sabyasachi, you can kill 100 people at a time from both hands, 50 here, 50 there. He's saying, Samyena, this is this kind of mental activity, such a great concentration. He's saying it is difficult still to get the mind calm. Then Lord says, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna. This restless mind, definitely this mind is restless, Krishna. Pramati is hut jo karta hai na, very stubborn. Is very stubborn. Bhalavat, very strong. Thridam. Thridam here is, very, what do you call? Again, some kind of stubbornness. Tasya aham nigraham manni. Nigraham is to control by me. Vayor iva sudushkaram. Like holding on to wind. So difficult. Bhagavan says. For that, Bhagavan says, he responds, Bhagavan Uvacha, he says, Asamshayam Mahabaho. Oh Mahabaho, Asamshaya. Definitely. No doubt about it. Mana Durnigraham Chalam. Chalam is moving all the time, and Durnigraham. Nigraha karna mushkil hai usko. But this is a very world famous advice. Abhyasena tu Kaunteya. But by practice, Kaunteya, constant practice makes a man perfect. It came later. Bhagavan said it 3000 years back. Vairagena cha grihyate. Grihyate is grahan karna, control it. So by vairagya and abhyasa, you can control. That is why when the Guru says, every day, as early as possible, at 8, at 7, at 2, at 4, when you start meditation, doesn't matter, start. Every day without fail, 15 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, whatever time you can pull out, morning, evening. You take breakfast so many times in your entire life, breakfast, lunch, you never miss it. So why don't you do this for your soul? Isn't it? So abhyasa. Whatever sadhana you're doing, practice. You're reading something, you're reading the Quran, Bible, do it every day. You're reading the Gita, chanting the Sasnama, but you have to do. You can't go to bed until you do it. Asamyata Atmana. So one who is not very disciplined, for that Atma, Yogo Dushprapa. Yoga is Dushprapya. Difficult to get. Iti me mati. This is what I feel. He says, I feel. Or this is my opinion. Vashya Atmana. Meaning when you have a controlled, disciplined mind, Yukta Ahara Viharasya kind of mind, to Yatata. And he keeps struggling, trying. Yatna karta rehta hai, Yatata. Shakyo Avaptum. Avaptum is to get. Shakya is, it is possible. Upayataha. This is some kind of a upaya. It's a technique. Upaya means a byway. There are byways. So there are some techniques available, or there are some things. Learn some things like that. If you show interest, Siddha will appear in front of you to teach you. But if you never question life, it will never happen. So you have to ask the Siddha, Upayataha, some technique you will get. Then Arjuna asks, he doesn't stop there. See, these Arjuna's questions, these Vyasa's questions for you and me. Because he knows people like us, Mudagrahinatmano, so all of us, who are deluded in this world, disturbed minds, so anxious and restless in this world, they will ask these questions in future. So Vyasa has put in these questions. Did Arjuna really ask it? We don't know. Might have, but it doesn't look like Arjuna has asked, because you see Sitapragnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava. Sitapragna is sitting in front of him, and Arjuna is asking these questions. A little simple questions. Then, but this one is interesting. He says, Ayati Shraddhayopeta Yogaschalita Manasa. Ayati, Arjuna is saying, Ayati. Yati is to struggle. Ayati is one who doesn't struggle. Yeah, who is very relaxed. Shraddhaya Upetaha. So even though you have Shraddha, Upeta is attained, has attained some kind of Shraddha, faith is there. Yogat Chalita Manasaha. From yoga, his mind has become deviated. Meaning he practiced his this one yoga. So somewhere he was practicing for some years. Then he got distracted. He says, "Kuch nahi ho raha hai, chalo chhod dete meditation." Aprapya yoga samsiddhi. So he will not attain his yoga completely. Samsiddhi. Kam gatim Krishna gacchati. What will happen to him if he suddenly stops? So he says, Kachit na ubhaya. Ubhaya is both sides. We discussed this, right? There's some words you remember, it keeps coming. Kachit, whether not na ubhaya, both sides, meaning he did not, because initial state only at the age of 20, 25, he said, okay, now let me start meditation. meditating, he gave less importance on growing materially, material success. He was more withdrawn. Now, Ubhayat Vibrashtaha means he's pulled away from yoga. Chinna Abhram Ivanashyati. Abhram is a cloud. Chinna is to cut. Chitvainam, there also it's cut in the 4th chapter end. So Chinna Abram Ivanashyati. So like the cloud is broken apart, no, and rain comes out, won't he get destroyed? Apratishta Mahabaho. He can't get any success. Mahabaho in both sides. Ubhaya is material world as well as spiritual world. Vimudo, it becomes very distracted, depressed. Brahmana Patihi. On the path to Brahma also, won't he encounter problems? Lord says, and then he says, Etanme Samshayam Krishna. This is my Samshaya Krishna. Chetu, can you remove it? Marhasi, Arhasi. Am I eligible to hear the answer like that? Arhasi, Asheshata. Completely, I want to know really what will happen. Tvatanya samshayasya asya chetta na hi upapadyate. Is there anybody else who can remove my samshaya besides you? You the great, like that. Upapadyate. Will I ever get? Nahi. So chetta is to remove again. So can you remove my samshaya? Can I ever get a person better than you who can remove my doubts? So Bhagavan says, what does he say? Partha, Bhagavan Uvacha, he says, O Partha, na iva iha. Never in this world, iha, na amutraha, in the other universes, that is the higher universes, vinasha tasya vidyate. For a person who has practiced anything, whether it is chanting, whether it's reading the Ramayana, Mahabharata, the Bible, the Quran, the Gita, if you have done something, he has seen it. He has seen it. Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutanam. Uthte baithte, he is watching you. From within, he is watching. He is you. That higher being is watching you. Na eva amutra vinashastasya vidyate. You will not get destroyed. Ever. Vidyate, you'll never get. Nahi kalyanakrit kaschit. Never ever, if you do a kalyana job. Kalyana is good job, an excellent work. Kaschid. Does anyone durgatim tata gacchati? Gacchati is to go. Will he ever get durgati if he does something good? No, right? Like that, if you have done any kind of effort, Lord has observed it. You will never rot. Simple. As simple. And suppose you are going through something, it is something for the good only, which you will come to know later. So, okay, so Didi has not chanted it. I will not finish this. Let me just continue because it is in the same lesson. He says, Prapya punyakritam lokan. He'll prapti hota hai punyakritam lokan. Higher and higher lokas. Ushitva shashwatim sama. Ushitva will enjoy shashwati almost hundreds and thousands of years he can live as long as he wants. In the higher lokas, where people glide, there's so much of joy, there's so much of no problem, no hard work, nothing. That kind of lokas are there. Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brishta Abhijayate. Then after so much of enjoyment, when he decides he will be reborn, I want to come back, I want to finish that which I started. He will be born in a pure Shuchinam Srimatam, very wealthy and successful. Gehe. In that place he will go, Yoga Brishta Abhijayate. That kind of Yoga Brishta, he will be in the house of, he'll be born. Gehe, go in the house, he'll be coming into the house like that. Go into the house. Of a person who is all of a family which is very famous, successful, rich. Look at anybody. Sri Paramahansa Yogananda. Where was he born? His father was rolling in money. Where was Swami Yukteswarji born? Jamindar's son. Vivekananda, great famous lawyer's son. You pick up people, but there might be people who may choose to come in a poorer family for obvious reasons. That has the sole decision, but mostly they'll come like this. Yoga Brishta. Atava yoginam eva kule bhavati dhimatam. This is the answer to the next part. Atava means otherwise. Atava Yoginam, these yogis, definitely, kule bhavati dhimatam. He may decide to come into a family which may not be very successful, materially well known, but extremely brilliant or extremely wise people in that family. Dhimatam, or who have that seeker tendency. Etat hi durlabhataram loke. But getting such people who are wise and very yogic in nature is very difficult. Loke janma yat idrisham. Because this world is very small, na? It is like very filled with pleasure seeking principle people. So getting such life is a little difficult because you have to find a family which is so focused, right, on these higher things. So it is a little difficult. That's what Lord says. But basically, nahi kalyana kat kaschit durgatim tata gachati. So what we'll do today is, since its time is up, and so we finished till technically we finished till 40. Question we'll do again tomorrow. Everything we'll do again tomorrow. I take a revision anyway. So little bit as much as God wants us to. Till 43. So then you have 5, 7. What we'll do, we will do it tomorrow. And then we will continue into Saptamodhyaya. Saptadhyaya is very interesting. It is not related at all to the 6th. So it is it is a Pratigatma state. Pratigatma state is Bhagavan Krishna takes on the form of Brahma himself and starts speaking only about himself. He starts talking about himself in such depth that it is very Pulakita. Pulakita means that very Romaharshana types. Very strange set of tone. So we'll finish that and we will start the this one. So Thursday, Friday we'll finish 7th chapter. It's a smaller chapter, 30th. By Thursday, Friday we'll finish it. So we've completed 8 chapters totally. In the sense 15th we did before, right? So that should be done. So 10th and 11th chapter is very simple. There is no explanation. There is just a simple understanding. So 8th and 9th requires a lot of explanation. 7th is simpler. And that means maybe by another 3 weeks we'll complete the Gita. We started on 21st May, right? So I guess around mid-July, 20th or something, we can complete July 20th or something. Or no, beginning July we should finish. 15th. Let's see what Brahma wants us to do. Let's take a moment of silence. I request now Sumangla Di to chant for us from this 6th chapter from this one 1 to 40. Shloka. Sumangla Di, can you chant for us?
Which chapter, Devi?
From 6th chapter from 1 to 40.
Yes. Yes.
And everyone pay attention and also chant and try to recollect the meanings.
षष्ठोऽध्यायः श्रीभगवानुवाच अनाश्रितकर्मफलं कार्यं कर्म करोति यः स सन्न्यासी च योगी च न निरग्निर्न चाक्रियः यं सन्न्यासमिति प्राहुः योगं तं विद्धि पाण्डव न ह्यसन्न्यस्तसङ्कल्पो योगी भवति कश्चन आरुरक्षोर्मुनेर्योगं कर्मकारणमुच्यते योगारूढस्य तस्यैव शमः कारणमुच्यते यदा हिनेन्द्रियार्थेषु न कर्मस्युनुषज्यते सर्वसङ्कल्पसन्न्यासी योगारूढस्तदोच्यते उत्थरेदात्मनात्मानम् आत्मानमवसादेत् आत्मव्यह्यात्मनो बन्धुः आत्मैव रिपुरात्मनः बन्धुरात्मानमत् अन्यस्त्य येनात्मैवात्मना जितः अनात्मस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्तेदात्मैव शत्रुवत् जितात्मनः प्रशान्तस्य परमात्मा समाहितः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु तथा मानापमानयोः ज्ञानविज्ञानतृप्तात्मा गूढस्थो विजितेन्द्रियः युक्त इत्युच्यते योगी समलोष्टास्मकाञ्चनः സുഹൃമിത്രാര്യുദാസീന മധ്യസ്യ ദ്വേഷബന്ധുഷ സാധുഷ്യപി ച പാപേഷു സമബുദ്ധിർവിശിഷ്യതേ യോഗീ യുഞ്ജീത സദം ആത്മാനം രഹസി സ്ഥിതഃ ഏകാകീയത ചിത്താത്മാ നിരാശീരപരിഗ്രഹഃ ശുചൗ ദേശേ പ്രതിഷ്ഠാപ്യ സ്ഥിരമാസനമാത്മനഃ ദൃശ്യം നാതിനീചം ചൈലാജിന കുശോത്തര തത്രൈകാഗ്രം മനഃ കൃത്വാ യതചിത്തേന്ദ്രിയക്രിയഃ ഉപവിശ്യാസനേ യുജ്യാൻ യോഗമാത്മവിശുദ്ധയേ സമം കായശിരോഗ്രീവം ധാരയന്നചലം സ്ഥിരഃ സംപ്രേക്ഷ്യ നാസികാഗ്രം സ്വം ദിശഞ്ചാനവലോകയൻ പ്രശാന്താത്മാ വിഗതഃ ബ്രഹ്മചാരിവ്രതേ സ്ഥിതഃ മനം സംയമ്യമച്ചിത്തോ യുക്ത ആസീത മത്പരഃ യുഞ്ജന്നേവം സദാത്മാനം യോഗീ നിയതമാനസഃ ശാന്തിം നിർവാണ പരമാം മത്സംസ്ഥാം അധിഗച്ഛതി നാത്യസ്തു യോഗോസ്തി നൈജൈകാന്തമനശ്നദഃ ന ജാതി സ്വപ്നശീലസ്യ ജാഗ്രതോ നൈവ ചാർജുന യുക്താഹാരവിഹാരസ്യ യുക്തചേഷ്ടസ്യ കർമ്മസു യുക്തസ്വപ്നാവബോധസ്യ യോഗോ ഭവതി ദുഃഖഃ യദാ വിനിയതം ചിത്തം ആത്മന്യേവാവതിഷ്ഠതേ നിസ്പൃഹ സർവകാമേഭ്യോ യുക്തയുക്ത്യുച്യതേ തദാ യഥാ ദീപോ നിവാതസ്ഥോ നേംഗതേ സോപമാ സ്മൃത യോഗിനോ യത്ര ചിത്തസ്യ യുഞ്ജതോ യോഗമാത്മനഃ യത്രോ പരമതേ ചിത്തം നിരുദ്ധം യോഗസേവയാ യത്ര ചൈവാത്മനാത്മാനം പശ്യന്നാത്മനി തുഷ്യതി സുഖമാത്യന്തികം യത്തദ് ബുദ്ധിഗ്രാഹ്യമതീന്ദ്രിയം വേത്തി യത്ര ന ചൈവായം സ്ഥിതം ചലതി തത്വതഃ യം ലബ്ധ്വാ ചാപരം ലാഭം മന്യതേനാധികം തതഃ യസ്മിൻ സ്ഥിതോ ന ദുഃഖേന ഗുരുണാപി വിചാല്യതേ തം വിദ്യാത് ദുഃഖസംയോഗ വിയോഗം യോഗസഞ്ചിതം സനിസ്സേന യോക്തവ്യോ യോഗോ അനിർവിണ്ണചേതസ സങ്കൽപ്പ പ്രഭവാൻ കാമാൻ ത്യക്താ സർവാൻ ശേഷതഃ മനസ്സൈവേന്ദ്രിയഗ്രാമം വിനിയമ്യ സമന്തതഃ ശനൈശനൈരുപരമേത് ബുദ്ധ്യാ ധൃതി ഗൃഹീതയ ആത്മസംസ്ഥം മനഃ കൃത്വാ ന കിഞ്ചിദപി ചിന്തയേത് യതോ യതോ നിശ്ചരതി മനശ്ചഞ്ചലമസ്ഥിരം തതസ്തതോ നിയമ്യ തത് ആത്മന്യേവ വശം നയേത് പ്രശാന്തമനസം ഹ്യേനം യോഗിനം സുഖമുത്തമം ഉപൈതി ശാന്തരജസം ബ്രഹ്മഭൂതമകൽമഷം യുഞ്ജന്നേവം സദാത്മാനം യോഗീ വിഗതകൽമഷഃ സുഖേന ബ്രഹ്മസംസ്പർശം അത്യന്തം സുഖമശ്നുതേ സർവഭൂതസ്ഥമാത്മാനം സർവഭൂതാനി ചാത്മനി ഈക്ഷതേ യോഗയുക്താത്മാ സർവത്ര സമദർശനഃ യോ മാം പശ്യതി സർവത്ര സർവം ച മയി പശ്യതി തസ്യാഹം ന പ്രണശ്യാമി സ ച മേ ന പ്രണശ്യതി സർവഭൂതസ്ഥിതം യോ മാം ഭജത്യേകത്വമാസ്ഥിതഃ സർവഥാ വർത്തമാനോപി സ യോഗീ മയി വർത്തതേ ആത്മൗപമ്യേന സർവത്ര സമം പശ്യതി അർജുന സുഖം വാ യദി വാ ദുഃഖം സ യോഗീ പരമോ മദഃ അർജുന ഉവാച യോയം യോഗസ്ത്വയാ പ്രോക്തഃ സാമ്യേന മധുസൂദന ഏതസ്യാഹം ന പശ്യാമി ചഞ്ചലത്വാത് സ്ഥിതിം സ്ഥിരാം ചഞ്ചലം ഹി മനഃ കൃഷ്ണ പ്രമാധീ ബലവദൃഢം തസ്യാഹം നിഗ്രഹം മന്യേ വായോരിവ സുദുഷ്കരം. ശ്രീ ഭഗവാനുവാച അസംശയം മഹാബാഹോ മനോദുർനിഗ്രഹം ചലം അഭ്യാസേന തു കൗന്ദേയ വൈരാഗ്യേണ ച ഗൃഹ്യതേ അസംയതാത്മനാ യോഗോ ദുഷ്പ്രാപ ഇതി മേ മതിഃ വശ്യാത്മനാ തു യതതാ ശക്യോ വാക്തും വായതഃ. അർജുന ഉവാച അയതി ശ്രദ്ധയോപേതോ യോഗാശ്ചലിതമാനസഃ അപ്രാപ്യ യോഗസംസിദ്ധിം കാം ഗതിം കൃഷ്ണ ഗച്ഛതി. തച്ഛിന്നോ ഭയവിഭ്രഷ്ട ഛിന്നാഭ്രമിവ നശ്യതി അപ്രതിഷ്ഠോ മഹാബാഹോ വിമൂഢോ ബ്രാഹ്മണം പതി. ഏതന്മേ സംശയം കൃഷ്ണ ഛേതുമർഹ്യസ ശേഷതഃ തദന്യഃ സംശയസ്യാസ്യ ഛേതാനഹ്യുപപദ്യതേ. ശ്രീഭഗവാനുവാച പാർത്ഥനൈവേഹനാമുത്ര വിനാശസ്തസ്യ വിദ്യതേ നഹി കല്യാണകൃത് കശ്ചിത് ദുർഗതിം താത ഗച്ഛതി.
ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे आत्मसंयमयोगो नाम षष्ठोऽध्यायः. So, Bangladesh, can you do the healing prayers for us? Okay, she didn't hear. Okay, let's do the healing prayers. Let's visualize the entire creation.
Sorry,
I can
I forgot to.
or switch on the mic. Okay, go ahead.
Heavenly Father, thou art omnipresent, thou art in all thy children, manifest thy healing presence in their bodies. Heavenly Father, thou art omnipresent, thou art in all thy children, manifest thy healing presence in their minds. Heavenly Father, thou art omnipresent, thou art in all thy children, manifest thy healing presence in their souls. Chanting Om for world peace, harmony, and brotherhood. Shanti.
Thank you so much, Dee. With that, we'll close today's session. On God's grace, we could successfully finish up to 6th chapter almost. This is like a full milestone. Up to 6th chapter is the complete revelation on how to live in this world, work in this world, and continue to practice some kind of yajna or some kind of karma, which is spiritual action. And so we will bow down to the Guru's feet ॐ गुरुनारायणेति समर्पयामि. Jai Guru to everyone. Any doubts, anything regarding what we learned? Anybody can ask, anybody can respond. No problem. Whoever wants to leave also can leave. Jai Guru to them.
Jai Guru Didi.
Jai Guruji.
Didi, in Shloka 33,
Okay.
why does he say equanimity?
Good question. Let me open. I thought nobody's asking questions, so I've closed. I am. Mm, so that is a adjective. Samyak yoga. Equanimity. Ayam yoga swaya prokta samena madhusudana. Samyak yoga. Samena madhusudana. But the adjective is used because it's a poetic style, na? There's a freedom of usage. It's not like a sentence. So the interpretations may be various. So he says samena madhusudana etasyaham na pashyami chanchalattat siddham. So samya yoga. Samya yoga. You have to use that as equalizing yoga or Samyak yoga. He uses the word samyak also before we did that. So it's a
Okay.
kind of a peaceful yoga, peace producing yoga, like that.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
description.
Okay.
Why,
Thank you.
yeah. Vyasa, why he uses such words is to complete that chandas, no? Anushtup chandas. You need those 8 words, in one line so that for that he uses some adjectives here and we don't know why he uses this one. Each word has a deeper meaning that we'll realize. We just have to take one shloka of the Gita and chant it and meditate on it. If we realize it, we have realized Brahma. That's what he said. That's all. But intellectually, there's no harm in understanding. It's important that we understand. But good question. Very good question.
Thank you, Didi.
Didi,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, Chitta, there's a couple of verses on Chitta in this chapter,
Mm.
controlling of the Chitta.
Yeah.
So in the Bhagavad Gita, Chitrangada represents the Chitta.
Chitrangada represents Mahatattva, but Guruji also says in the microcosm it is Chitta.
Okay. So in a body, what represents Chitta? Same Chitrangada only.
See, Guruji has not given description. They're not part of the war, right? They're ancestors. So
Ah.
ancestors of the war. So they are the fundamental progenitors of humanity or ourselves, our mind and all. So Chitrangada is something that's why he's dead. Chitrangada is basically an ancestor, means he's dead and gone. Number two, he gets killed in the story also. He gets killed. So Satyavati and Shantanu have children, Chitrangada and Vichitravirya. Chitrangada goes and he kills. He fights with a duel. Like French duels. He invites Gandharva for a duel. He accepts. Everyone says don't accept. Goes kills, and the Gandharva's name is also Chitrangada. In those times, aliens used to come, no? So Gandharvas used to come down. So he fought with him and killed. Both of them killed each other. So that means that the Mahatattva, no, it breaks down into in our cell, in our body, it doesn't remain in its pure form. It dies. So the Chitta, that's why it never manifests. It just becomes the tilling ground for the awakening of everything else. Like on the Chitta, the Buddhi comes up, intellect grows, and then Manas grows, and through the Manas and Buddhi, many other things grow. They entwine with the Gunas, the Manas and Buddhi, and then they will get Vairagya, dispassion, that is dispassion, and then attachment to desires, Gandhari, all those people, their children, and then you will get the 100 sense or the sense organs and the sense tendencies, 100 sense tendencies, and the withdrawn chakras, which are the Pandavas. So all this grows over the Chitta, but the Chitta is quiescent. That is why significance is that he's dead.
Didi, just wanted to add, so Chitrangada is killed by a Gandharv named Chitrangad. Like both of both are of the same name, which may be relevant here. What you said that it becomes quiescent, it does not express itself. It is killed by itself in a way, is what is written. Like the name is the same. The human is killed by the Gandharva, and both are named Chitrangad.
Yeah,
I don't know if both are
yeah, so what I don't know that this one, but what is mentioned is about the Gita. What they say about the ancestors is what happens to Mahatattva is Mahatattva does not exist in its pure form in this universe. Mahatattva is basically equalized to Parashakti, which is Shakti in a very pure form, Om form almost. So maybe fundamentally a little different. She is like, you could say, a woman who has come to 9 months pregnancy. So she's going to deliver and disappear. The baby is what is important. So, Mahat Tattva. Inside it, everything is now just going to pop out. Everything, the entire 24 tattvas and everything. So then she is called the Mahatattva, the fundamental tattva, fundamental essence. She's still in essence form, you see. So that is why she dies. In the sense, Chitrangada dies. He doesn't exist in the real form.
That is why I was curious because mana का equivalent है, बुद्धि का है, and ego का है, mana buddhi aham chitta. So the अंतःकरण का चित्ता का part I was wondering कि what represents chitta. Then I
Chitta,
realized
it's
is
Chitrangada.
Chitrangada, and so that means now you explain na कि it remains in a quiet form,
Yeah,
background.
background. It never comes to the fore, but its evolute is feeling.
Yeah.
Compassion. Its
Feelings
evolute
are
is feeling.
strong.
Yes, yes.
Daily we are encountering this evolute. Daily we are encountering.
Yes, and that is, but it is not the pure form of chitta. It's an evolute of the chitra feelings. And some scriptures say that memory is also stored in the chitta only, but there's no reference as such. But yes, there is far away reference here. We used to use the Yoga Sutras completely to understand. But actually, chitta is used in the Yoga Sutras and the Gita very often. Gita, mein you can't get definition because Gita, Lord uses such poetic freedom, fluidity. Chitta is somewhere something. It is you need with these explanations you need a Siddha Purusha because Atma is somewhere ego, Atma is somewhere Manas also, Atma is somewhere Supreme Soul, Atma is somewhere the mind, conglomerate of the mind, which is equivalent to Manas. It's saying Atma only is unhappy. If you can't use Gita as a definition place, sutras you have to use Yoga Sutras give some definition. It doesn't explain what Chitta is. He says you can't understand Chitta because it is quiescent, it is beyond your creation. Mahatattva is beyond creation, no? Like that. But how we learned it is like suppose you have a field and it's a plain field, there's nothing on it, you're going to start building, you start constructing. So that field on which everything is constructed is the Chitta. Everything else, the 24 tattvas rest on the Chitta, whether it is microcosmically in our body or universally. And Chitta, where does it exist? It is existing even now in the causal body only. That is why feelings, because it attaches itself to the Chitta directly. It's a feminine force. It is a very powerful force. Because of feelings, people will kill, murder, they will do anything. Feelings, when it is broken, you know how it is. We attach many emotions to feelings. Then, when it is not, in control, man can go mad in the feelings. Man can go mad. Take love, failure, ho gaya, he can go mad. And so the chitta gets discordant. That's how man loses his mind. So chitta is important, but it's part of prakriti. So that and Lord Krishna keeps saying yata chittatma, yata chittatma. Let the soul control the chitta. Let the soul control the chitta. That is that is Kutastha Chaitanya rule over the chitta. Otherwise, it is very capricious. It's very and chitta is, you can say negatively when like the Bible, it is Maya. It is very restless. It is feelings. It is emotions. It is all gives you all those unruly restlessness to the mind.
Yeah, yoga, see, it's all chitta nirodha only, na? So that's so.
Yeah.
I was wondering, I say it is very required to be cleaned up, nirodha, but exactly who I was thinking maybe some way Arjun, Karna, Vikarna also somewhere that come from that source only, because likes
No,
and
no,
dislikes,
no.
sheer likes.
Karna, Karna Vikarna, no, later evolutes of Chitta. Chitta is a more purer, purer form. This is what I understand. Chitta is a very pure form of.
Because
It's in the causal world, causal
Guruji
universe.
has made us conscious of the fact that everything is, the war is taking place inside. So you get become aware of all the play of consciousness inside you. You know, each and every thought and each and every feeling which is coming. So this is what we are analyzing moment to moment. Be conscious of it. So thank you, Didi. Your
And the best part is Yoga Sutra says that you can never see the Chitta.
yeah, you said
What is going to happen is he says in self-realization, what happens is that is just buddhi grahyamatindriyam. The buddhi will understand, but when you approach the chitta, it will dissolve. That's why it's called Maya. It's like Satan. You go to it, it will disappear. What? Nothing happened. No, I didn't produce anything. So although it was existing and everything was resting on it, like whole universes were resting on it. But the moment you go and approach it, it will disappear like it had never been, like a Mayamriga. Because the chitta is nothing but Brahma himself in another form. That is a very fascinating aspect of it. It realizes that I am Brahma. I am the soul. That is where the union happens. Interesting and confusing at the same time, right?
it's fascinating. It's
Mm.
fascinating. It's like you know
That is everything dissolves.
discovering.
No? Everything dissolves.
It's like discovering that what I'm seeking is myself only.
Yeah. Everything dissolves back into yourself, and you realize that you are Brahman. There was nothing actually existing. There was no manas, there was no buddhi, there were no vrittis. Nothing was happening. That's what we realize. What a realization it might be. Like awakening from the dream. That analogy Guruji gives is like solid 100%.
Thank you, Didi. Super good explanation. I've been thinking since last night. It was like hitting me every 2 minutes. So I said, then I did some reading also. But whatever you told me, you added on and this line is so beautiful. It is the tilling ground for everything. तो क्षेत्रज्ञ भी वही है and क्षेत्र भी वही है. So that is why chitta vritti nirodha becomes so important.
Yes, it is some non-existing spoof on which everything is existing. Maya, Mayamidam, Akhilam, Hitva. So everything is a construct on the chitta, on the matrix, which is the chitta. So the matrix, you reach the matrix disappears and you awaken. That's what happens. How Yoga Sutra explains it is you turn behind the chitta, suddenly realizes that it does not exist. It is a reflection of the soul. And she turns behind and she disappears when you reach that state. Oh, it gives me goosebumps, those things. Like, your understanding the Yoga Sutra is crazy. You understand one sutra, like intellectually, then you want to dig deeper and you're like, what is he trying to say? What is he saying? Wait, what is he saying? Then you read again, then it just goes poof beyond. It's very fascinating. We should do the Yoga Sutra. Maybe next year or year in after autobiography, we should do it again. So every time we discuss it, it kind of sits in more. And some questions come which kind of gets you thinking. We did it very cursorily a couple of years back, like in 1 month or something. We should do it again. I recently bought another book on Yoga Sutras if anybody wants to buy it. It's been published. It was not published, it was only on the archives. Motilal Banarsidas. Vyasa commentary. Until Guruji comes, we have to read Vyasa. It's supposed to be one of the best commentaries. One is Swami Sivananda from, not Swami Sivananda of Divine Life Society, Bengali Baba's commentary, Vyasa commentary. It's originally written in Sanskrit. Another commentary is Brahmananda Saraswati, which who Guruji mentions in the Idil in South India, from Korur, no, in Tamil Nadu, that great saint, who he also
Swami
wrote.
Sarvapriyananda also talks about him.
Swami Sarvapriyananda is a great soul.
Didi,
Which one
do you
have
know
you bought? Which
Sadashiv?
book have you bought?
Yeah, Sadashiva Brahmananda Saraswati, no? Sadashiva
Brahmendra.
Brahmendra.
Brahmendra, yeah, yes, thank you. Yes, he is amazing. Like the
So
person
Didi,
is amazing, I haven't read.
Didi, which book have you bought now?
That is, you can buy it. It's Vyasa commentary. Just Google Patanjali Yoga. It just got published. It was not there 2 years back. When
Yeah,
we did it,
right.
it was in.
But even that other one which we were following last time, that's also pretty good. I find it quite good.
And that's basic.
Yes,
That's बच्चा लेवल बट उसमें भी सूत्रास का इंटरप्रिटेशन बहुत गलत है बहुत सारे प्रभावानंदा ना सॉरी टू से दिस बट
No,
you
not
take
Prabhavananda. Prabhavananda. That was that